What can you tell us about Leah's journey in these next few episodes? Like, what can fans expect?
Just a whole nother side of her, right? We saw who she was when her and Daryl were falling in love. We see who she was as a Reaper. And now, we're going to see who she is where she has nothing to lose. She's lost everything, you know?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the show, that it shows like who the true monsters are, right? Or like what this danger can do to
Circumstances.
people. Exactly.
Yeah, the circumstances that create monsters, right?
Exactly.
She's a woman scorned. She feels like she's been betrayed twice. Now everybody's killed that she's loved. She hasn't been able. This is an interesting thing, which I haven't spoken about. She was the protector of all of these people, and they're now all dead. So even her relationship with herself is marred. What must she think about herself that she failed all these people that she was in charge of? It's like a self-hatred thing as well. Nothing to lose, a woman scorned who hates herself. That's a dangerous combination.
Absolutely. As you were saying, Leah would do absolutely anything to protect her family. Is this something you can relate to?
So I have a 7-year-old, and when he was born, I actually talk about it like that was the day that I was born too, because there was this element of my life up until that point where I lived very selfishly. I did whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted to. I had this rarefied air as like, a celebrity, and didn't have to answer to anybody really. And then this child comes who is ultimately like every day, like, especially when he was an infant, at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh my God, he's still alive. Okay. Woo! Like I did it. The ego, I think when you truly love something unconditionally, there is something that happens to your ego. Your ego is burned away, and there's this purity of intent and circumstances. It doesn't have to be a child, but if you look at like the circumstances of the characters within this show, the heightened circumstances that they're in can create that as well, and it's constantly the choice of like power or love, power or love, power or love. And I think that's what we see Leah battling with now in these next episodes. It's about what is she going to choose, and the forgiveness too. Like, I don't want to give too much
herself too, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I think there are scenes that you're going to see, that we're all going to see, where there are moments where there's this opportunity for that. And does she take it? Does she not? Very telling.
But despite what happens or doesn't happen on the show, because you never know, but we don't want to spoil the fans, of course. How would you describe a happy ending for Leah? Or like, what are your hopes for her?
Well, I mean, the writers have done an incredible job. So I want to just say that first off, right? Because
absolutely,
they can't give us everything that we want, right? The happy ending is rare in The Walking Dead, which I think is why The Walking Dead is so successful, right? Because at the end of the day, like this is so interesting. They're hard to get, right? They're playing hard to get with us. We're not getting what we want. So we keep watching because we're hoping we're going to get what we want. Is perfect. They're seducing us in every way. I'm a sap, right? Big heart, totally mush pile. So I would have loved for the Reaper group and our heroes to have all gotten together, and then the Reaper's been like their bodyguards. I mean, that would have been amazing. But see, that feels too good.
Something's gonna go wrong.
Right? Inevitably.
Yeah. Yeah, as you were saying, it's hard to please everyone, especially when it comes to such an epic series finale.
Yeah.
But do
Yeah.
you think fans will be happy?
These fans are some of the most dedicated, passionate, smart, and like terrifying. I I think there's going to be, I think it's just going to be all over the map. I mean, this is for some people, the Walking Dead has had such success because people are so committed and passionate to it, connected to it, like bonded to it. So just the fact that it's ending is going to create chaos and heartbreak and just madness. However it ends, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a hot mess. It's just inevitable. And of course it should be. I mean, I think when the last episode airs, there's going to be like probably a couple million people who are like in a puddle in their living room and saying goodbye to these characters. And even though, there's possibly spinoffs and there's all this has been 11 years of, we can go into their world and experience bravery and fearlessness and loss. Like you think about grief, and we are all losing people all the time, especially in the last 2.5 years. And this is why art is so important, why storytelling is so important, because we watch this show, they're grieving, and then we can have a moment where we're grieving too. And maybe like we don't feel like our grief is going to swallow us up because, well, there's this friend on the other end of the screen who's experiencing the same thing. This is so important. This is why entertainment, it has the power to catalyze emotional healing and purging. It makes me want to cry how these people have bonded with these characters,
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful answer. And on that note, I have to wrap. Thank you so much for your time. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
talking to you.
You
Bye.
too.